All right. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this talk and talk immersion. My name is Jared. I'm 25 years old. I have been part of hosting immersions for half this year now, and uh, I have a beautiful wife and a beautiful dog. I live in the United States in the state of Texas. Um, And then I work in information technology. Uh, it's my primary job, um, and I'm glad to have everyone here. I want to mention before giving someone else the mic that I am not a teacher. I am a student, just like everyone else. Um, and I don't want anyone to, you know, think that this is going to be a judgment type of zone where we're all going to be equals and we're all going to just enjoy conversation, hearing each other's thoughts about the upcoming questions. All right. Well, Douglas, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Douglas. I'm 35 years. I live in a small city on São Paulo State. I work as IT analyst. I'm married. I have a little son. I using Talk, I think, for about 2 weeks. And in my free time, I like to spend some time with my family, watch some movies, some series, play video games, play soccer, and I think that's it.
All right. Thank you, Douglas. Tieron, would you
Yeah,
like to
where are
introduce
you
yourself?
from, Douglas?
My city, Guaratinguetá.
Okay. Hi, my name is Charon. I'm here from São Paulo, capital, and using Talk and Talk for 1 week, and just this is my second session, and I work with conversational design. It's almost technology for IT too, and I'm married. I have two sons with 4 and 2 years, and my free time, I don't have much of free time because of two younger sons. We don't spend too much time for me. But I like to play video games and play soccer too. And that's it. And my in my
Thank
first
you,
session,
Tieron.
Pereira was participating too.
Thank you, Tieron. Pamela, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Pamela. I was born and raised in Brazil, but I have been living abroad for 2 years now. I really like The Legend of Zelda. It's my favorite game, and I'm an engineer, but I actually never worked as an engineer like a lot of people in Brazil. I worked mostly with technology for 2 years, I think. No, 3 years, and I don't know if I enjoy it. I don't think I do. So right now I'm just going through a transition in my career, trying to go to something related to healthcare, but I'm not quite sure what. Still thinking about it, and that's it.
Thank you, Pamela. Uh, Pereira, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, no problem. So my first name is really complicated. My second name too. My first name is Clejon, but I use my first name here because I think easier for Brazilian people. No, Pereira. That's my second name. But I'm 38, so I live in the countryside city of Minas Gerais, here in Brazil. I've been studying English about 7 years. but I stopped for a while. I back again, and now I use this platform for about 2 weeks. I'm 38. I'm married. I have 2 kids, a couple of kids, a boy and a girl. I work with topograph. I am land surveyor or topographer. It's the same. I work basically with measurements in the construction area. I work with the industrial area. So next time when I have, I like to play guitar with my friends, with my family. I am not a great musician, just for fun. I like to play chess. I really like to play chess. And that's it. So I already know Douglas Paiva. I participated before with him and Chiron. Already know Chiron. But it's my first time with you, Jared, and Pamela. And to me, it's a pleasure to be here. And that's it. That's a little bit about me.
All right, thank you, Pereira. All right, we're going to post the question for everyone. This way, everyone has a reference to the question. And the main topic, the main point of this is success. The way people define success, the difference between success in different generations. We're just going to talk about what we think about all this, and we're going to go by the questions. Okay. The first one is how do you personally define success? Is it money, happiness, or something else? I I I've defined success as something as fulfilling. Um, fulfilling as in you personally um achieve what you want to achieve. If someone wants to be very successful in their career, that would be fulfilling for them. If it's money, um, or if it's fame, being a celebrity, uh, there's different ways to redefine success. But it comes down to what's fulfilling. What if we have dreams of what we want to be and how we're going to get there. Some people, when they were young, they dream about uh, being an astronaut and go to space. Some people, may drop that, but other people will who really love the idea of being one would work towards it, and it may end up being one in the future. That is what's fulfilling for them. Some people want to climb Mount Everest, and the success is to go on top to the peak of Mount Everest and just you know s- experience the view and see everything. That's what is fulfilling for them. How I do think that when someone does not feel fulfilled in what they want, it can have a lot of negative consequences mentally. Um, but I think people should understand that success, you can change what is fulfilling in your life. If something doesn't seem feasible, we should not give up on an idea or give up trying something out. Maybe try something new, like a new hobby, new activity. There's different ways you can, redefine what's successful for you. Um, Douglas, would you like to answer the first question?
Yes. For me, success is, I think success is different for each person. I think success for me is about achieve my objectives. And for me, it's not about just about money. I think money helps, but it's not all. And for me, success is has a prosperous life, and it's about um, just having a good health and be happy and have the enough money to sustain my family. I think that a type of absence of needs and have enough to do whatever I want. Like if I want to travel, I have the enough money. I have the I think the enough money to sustain my family. I have the health to have a good life, and success for me is it's about prosperity and with me and my family. It's my objectives, and if I achieve this, is for me it's a success life.
Thank you, Douglas. And uh, a good health is something that I value myself. I know that it's not given for everyone. Sometimes it's all just sheer luck, but I do appreciate uh good health, and especially if I ever come down with something like I'm very sick, I appreciate it even more. But yeah, good health is something that people like to maintain and keep for a long time, and that's what's successful in their eyes. Tieron, would you like to answer the first question? You're muted.
Thanks. uh, I guess success become from two main ways. Uh, I guess the shorter and easy way to achieve success is to set up a shorter goal and like make a travel or get a promotion, uh, things like that, and then you effectively achieve that goals. But yes, more important than that is to make something consistent and to maintain that and to get to know that what we are doing in a consistent way will how can I say that will contribute to you for you to achieve your main goals of life, like and to have an ethics and a conduct of life that direct you works like your, don't know how to say bússola in English, and to work as your north, and after a long term of years, and you see that what you have done was was good or was successful, and you are happy and your childs are alive and you are alive too, and so good health is important for you to achieve success because you have to be alive, and I guess that's it. It's a long-term journey and to have a happiness life, and money helps you to have a happiness, but it's can also prejudice you, and I guess prejudice is another thing, and money can also and difficult to you to be happy. And I guess long term success is to have a happy life. That's it.
Thank you, Diego. Yeah, I think happiness is a big part of success. Money does not guarantee that you'll be happy. Like, you can be successful and gain a lot of money, but it won't. Sometimes it won't make someone happy. But there's nothing strictly saying that success has to be on a positive side. Sometimes success uh and it's just what you want to achieve doesn't mean it's a good thing, or they all make you better or happier in the end. So thank you. Pamela, would you like to answer the first question?
Sure. I I think that my definition of success has changed considerably in the past few years. When I was younger, I always thought that my dream in life was to get to know other cultures and, explore the world. So I made my whole life about that. So I pretty much focused on learning language and I when I decided what to study, I wanted to make sure that I would study something that could allow me to do that, like to for this amazing goal that I that I thought was amazing. But then after I achieved this goal and I thought I would finally feel successful, there was a part of me that was not happy. And then I started realizing that there are a lot of other factors that I might have not put as a part of my success, and one of them is regarding like work life balance. Not that a lot of times that I worked, I felt like I didn't have that, but I felt like what a lot of people consider good work life balance, for example, it's not the same definition that I have for myself. I need a lot of, like, flexibility. I'm okay with doing my job. I want to do my job, but I don't want it to feel like there's someone constantly watching over me or that I have to be, like, there specifically at 9 PM or something like that, like, at specific times. I understand the importance of a schedule, but I for me, part of my success is being able to have freedom to do my job without being constantly, overseen by someone else. Along with that, I didn't think the money was that important when I was younger, but now I came to realize that if you don't have money, you end up in very, very bad spots. Life is not fair, and you do need money to have access to health. Like like if you wanna, for example, you wanna be healthy, and let's say you wanna go to a gym, you need money to do that. You need time. You need to have like a proper way to get there. Sometimes like gyms are too far depending on where you live. So I also think that money is very important. Not that you need to be like ultra rich to have some sort of like success, but I think that everyone should have access to some sort of financial means to get uh, get healthy. And for happiness, I mean, I never really thought too much about it. I guess happiness it's also important, but I also came to realize that happiness is very hard to define. And I used to feel when I was younger, I used to feel like very happy, like, the happiness that I used to feel, it's very different that I feel nowadays. It's like, back then, if I were to get a phone, for example, I was so excited about it, and my heart would be all jumping around, and nowadays, I just don't feel like that anymore. I don't know if it's something about growing up, but I think, like, being content overall, for me, it's more important when it comes to success, just, like, feeling like things are right and they are working properly. I feel like it's what makes me feeling successful as well. Like having everything as it's supposed to be, like having a proper employment or proper housing, proper transportation, proper health. I think that would be the idea of content for me. And that's it.
Thank you, Pamela. With that, do you believe that with money could some people might get too obsessed with money where they end up not being happy, even though it could be a key to what they define as success.
Me?
Yeah, yeah. What do you? If I'm asking you, do you think someone can like be overly obsessed with money? Um, if because if a lot of things are defined by money, do you think they could be obsessed with it? Because like if 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 it was if you grew up with not much and then but you know that life there's a lot of things that rely on money, do you think it could be uh too much where they could be unhappy?
Mm, honestly, I don't think that people who are just born like regular people, they usually end up being too obsessed about money. And the reason why I think that is because most people when they think about having money, it's not anything extraordinarily high. Okay, especially people who come from like a poor background or a middle class background. So I honestly don't think that people who come from those background they could potentially be obsessed with money. I think it's just like a way of surviving because you come to realize that when you don't have a lot of money, especially when you're younger, you might end up in a very, very bad spot. So you just are trying to protect yourself and your family and your health by pursuing money. Now, if that will cause them to be happy or not, I guess it's a very individual answer because depends what they want the money for. So if it's like for let's say a life that is balanced, maybe that would make them very happy because they could potentially achieve that. But if you're someone, for example, that you make choices that are only focused on money, I guess what could eventually happen is that you might end up making choices that you're not very proud of or that you don't feel fulfilled, like depending like let's say you pick a career and it's the only reason why you pick that career is because you like money and you need money or whatever reason that was and you don't really like that job or don't really like what that career offers you, then I guess you could be very unhappy. Like a career, I don't know, for me, for example, if I don't have a if I don't do something that I really enjoy doing, career-wise, I feel miserable. Like I feel so miserable that it really makes me wonder, like money in that case, maybe it's not worth it. So I guess it really depends.
All right. Thank you, Pamela. Uh, Pereira, would you like to answer the first question?
Okay, for sure. Success, I think it is basically short words is when you meet achieve your goals, basically is when you achieve your goals, you finally get a success. Of course, each person has a different type of success, for example, a soccer player is to win the championship, for example. Still, I don't know, people that start to work and to get a promotion, a job. Every person has your vision about success. Like personally, so basically, you achieve your goals. Doesn't matter what type of goals you have, you know. And to me, this is my answer about the question.
All right. Thank you, Pereira. The second question is, do you think it is harder to be successful today than it was for your parents' generation? Um, I'm much younger. in this, so maybe my perspective is different, but but uh, but I know that compared to when I was born, like to now, that there's 2 billion more people in the world, so it's probably a lot harder to reach the success that we um a lot of people can want to achieve because there's a lot more competition for specific goals, such as running like a business, um, maybe finding a nice house because there's only a limited amount of land, so it's hard to, if you're successful to get a house, it might be hard to get that. If it's um something else, I mean, it's just the population has grown significantly. Um, and that's one of the factors. But I think it's harder for because there's there's sometimes it can be difficult to put yourself if I find something that's new and unique because of so much is being done at once around the world. There's so many people, there's in different roles that it's harder to up with a new idea that someone else may have already thought of. And when a good idea is executed well, and then it can be successful. Um, if you want to be as a type of scientist, you want to be a doctor, or be any role, um, or you want to climb like Mount Everest, like I said earlier, that the population has grown so much that it can be difficult to achieve stuff. Maybe there's a lot more people that want to climb Mount Everest, so now there's like a this wait period before you can actually achieve it. And there's like a small window of opportunity per year that you might want to might be able to go. Well, maybe it's hard to get into land in your dream uh, university because the competition is so fierce. As people started learning and developing their skills as young as before they're 10 years old. They probably when like in early ages were devoted a lot of their time to try to build up a the knowledge and experience to be able to be a great candidate for a dream university. It's just that's back then when there was less people in the world. Uh, it probably was easier to achieve certain stuff. But now I think it's personally harder because of that rise in population. And as far as I know, that it's going to be even the next generation, it's going to be hard because the population just keeps increasing to even more billions of people. Yeah, that's my take on it. Um, Douglas, would you like to answer?
Yes, I think it's harder today, and I think when we are in my parents' time, sometimes for them the success was about doing some comparison with the persons or the people that are next from they from them. For example, someone of the family or a neighbor or someone of the city, and maybe they use these persons as example, and for them, success is be like them or archive the same that they archived. And for us, I think we live in a technological era, and we have a lot of information. We have contact with different persons, and we know about different persons, and when we sometimes do some comparison with them, and it's more difficult because probably we follow someone that is It's kind of a level very high in your career, and we want to be like them or use as example. And I think it's harder. And as you said about the competition is more high today. The technological change fastest, and the cost of living, and there are some factors that I think that is harder now than in my parents' time.
Yeah. I agree, Douglas. It, it's and it's one of another good point is, for example, maybe athletics. Someone who wants to become like an Olympic sprinter, they have there's a lot of people who dedicate their whole lives to trying to like, be successful and be like an Olympic sprinter. Um, but there's so many people in the world, and there's people that train and they 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 have coaches and they diet and they 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 consider every single factor to make themselves stand out. But sometimes it's still hard, even if you do everything right. If you don't stand out, you may not be picked to be um, in certain roles. Maybe it's also sports too. It's a lot of luck factor now because of the larger population. Yeah. So, Tierron, would you like to answer the second question?
No, I think it's harder today to be successful than it was before. And as I said, for me, successful is based on happiness. And we have some cancer in our society that was, uh, how can I say, um, social sites like Facebook, Instagram, and things like that, Twitter. And and that's for sure makes things harder to achieve a successful, because when we see those websites, everyone is doing a lot of things and traveling and eating and what else. And for me, like 13 years ago, I decided to delete all my there wasn't Instagram at the time, it was Facebook and Twitter account, and it was amazing. And since then, I don't have stuff like that, and I think it's it's good for me to don't have and to don't know what's happening. And in a way, you can say that being ignorant is what makes me happy, but I don't like it's really being ignorant. I don't know if that's a correct word. And because I guess in this that social, how can I say rede social in English? Can someone let me check it.
Social media.
Social media, thanks. So social media, thanks. The social media, I guess, they work for us to make us unhappy, and then we can buy more things and try to achieve it materials goals, and we all don't achieve that. And so I'm not sure that it's harder today to be happier than it was before. I guess we made poor decisions like having that social network medias. and and answering that about superpopulation, I guess, okay, we have a lot of new tools and everything, and we have a lot of coaches, and that's right, but they are there for the people like that was before. I don't think superpopulation make things harder for us to be successful. And I'm not sure how to answer that question. I guess I guess it's the same. And that's it.
Thank you, Theodore. Pamela, would you like to answer the second question?
So I really think it really depends on what people consider being successful. I do think there's a general idea that being successful is having like a house, a proper employment, etc. So considering those factors specifically, I would say that there is indeed a fierce competition nowadays that was not as fierce back then. However, I did see that there are a lot of difference between my generation and my parents. Like, it's much easier to get a degree these days. My mother, for example, she really, really, really wanted to be a vet. She's completely obsessed with animals, and she just couldn't because she didn't have enough money, and there was only one university in her city that she only had one university in her city, and it didn't have the vet course. So, and she couldn't move somewhere else because she wouldn't be able to afford it. Me, on the other hand, when I was not where I grew up, but mostly where I lived during my adult life, I had access to several universities, private and public, which my parents didn't. They were very locked into certain options that I don't feel like most people nowadays they don't have that problem. Of course, when it comes to private institutions or paid institutions, it all comes down to if whether you have money or not. But it's also like you have online options, and if you have some money, it's much easier for you to get a degree if that's part of what you consider being successful. Um, but yeah, if it's for like getting jobs or getting a house, I do see that's much harder nowadays. I noticed, for example, that my father, he didn't even need to speak a second language to like get a job or even have a degree. And he managed like to buy a house back in the 90s, and he was doing just fine. Of course, economy changed and then things got really bad. But back then you didn't even need a degree. You didn't need to speak a second language. You didn't need to do any of that. You could still have a somewhat comfortable life. I feel like nowadays you can speak a second language, you can have a degree, you can have a master's, you can have a bunch of certifications, and it doesn't mean that you're gonna land a job because the competition is just so fierce that everything's much harder. And for example, I speak like 4 languages. Of course, I don't speak them very well. Some of them are better than the others, but it doesn't mean I'm successful. Like it doesn't mean I can land a bunch of jobs. Of course, it opens opportunities that some other people wouldn't have, but at the same time, it doesn't open as much as people think that you would, you know? And it's just it's just hard. It's just hard overall, and I don't think that people back then had this issue like, "Oh, I need to speak 10 languages," I don't know, and have a bunch of degrees to land a job. So that's my take.
Um, Thank you, Pamela. I yeah, the population has gone to the point where it's like everyone's being promoted to go to university, and while that is good, um, it's it's since everyone is going for it, it makes it very difficult to stand out as a candidate, and they only have a limited number of positions in certain universities. Um, I mean, there should be always one seat open at any university, but that would also mean relocating. But uh, or maybe some might cost money, but the competition has gotten a lot more fierce over time. I agree with that. Um, yeah, would you like to answer the second question?
Okay, so for the second question, I don't know about my parents' generation. It's harder than nós days, no? Nós, think it's almost the same. The challenge is the same. Well, of course, everything has changed. All the mindset, the generation is different, but the generation, of course. And in those days, we live with their technology moment, and technology is everywhere, especially social media. Almost use social media. And as I said before, the first question, the way that people see success is different. Which person sees success in a way. But to me, the generation, most, of course, uh, I mean, almost everyone sees success like making money. But to me, success is more and more than that. Not me just make more. Thousand, as I said before, success is when you achieve your goal. But the generation think that good success is maybe, I don't know, get views in social media, get a like, bottom like in social media, you know, because to be famous, a lot of people think that success is to be famous. The most part of the people frustrated because it's not success. And the huge difference between the generation, then my parent generation, for example, to me, it's the technology area. Because today, people, it's almost everyone, it's worried about uh, getting views, be famous. Of course, there are a lot of people that don't think about this way, but in my case, I don't have social media anymore. I use just one for professional things. But to me, it's the main difference, between the generation and compare about their compare generation. Because the people nowadays they are they promote when it comes to social media. That's my answer to the question.
Thank you, Pedro. What what does everyone think about the questions and the topic today? Um, we're gonna have to finalize get to close out the normal questions. So, what does everyone think about it? Starting with you, Douglas.
Okay. I think that's a good topic to discuss. I think success is different for each person. And for me, it's about achieve our objectives. And the persons has different objectives. And for someone, maybe your objective is to be a millionaire. For others, just be in a good health. And I think it's changed. But it's good to discuss about it and hear about different opinions. And I really like this immersion.
Thank you, Douglas. Theodore, what do you think about the topic today?
Sorry, it's me or Pereira?
Yeah, I said Theodore.
What's the question?
That's it.
What's the question? Sorry.
The question is, what do you think about the topic today? Like
The
the
topic in
concept
general.
of success, the question.
Okay. I guess it's harder it's easier than the previous one. And my first conversation with Pereira and was about the soul and things really deeper. And I guess I like it.
That's it. Uh, um, Pamela, what do you think about the topic?
I think it's a very deep topic that makes us think a lot about our life and goals. So I'd say it's a really good one, and I think there's a lot of things that can be talked about regarding the topic. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you, Pamela. Piera, Piera.
Okay. I really appreciated this conversation because talk about success is good. I remember a couple of days ago, I was talking here about there's talk, almost the same talk, about success, happiness, something like that. So to me, it's a great experience to participate here in this platform. As I said before, I beginning this platform, and I see my evolution. I see my English better each conversation. And this is my first time with you, Jared. You know, and that's it. It was a great conversation. I would like to talk about this topic. Every time when I'm going to participate in this conversation, I like to see about the topic. Maybe I choose the conversation. Of course, I have make a schedule about my time, and I see, of course, about the topic. And talk about success is good because everyone uh, want to be success, but the way to success sometimes hard. Of course, you have to make mistakes. You have to fail. Sometimes it's normal to be frustrated, but it's part of the process. That's it. That's my thoughts about this conversation. It was good. Thank you for your time. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Piera. Well, thank you everyone for coming to this Talk immersion. I hope I see you next week. And have a good night, everyone. Good day. Good night. Take
Thank
care.
you. Bye bye.
Thank you.